Welcome back to Cossy podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. The transfer window is finally done, and Arsenal have done a total of 17 deals, incomings and outgoings as well. In this video, I'm going to be doing a recap of every single deal Arsenal have done in this summer. Now, some people are not really satisfied with the way we've done our business, doing it early in June and not signing anyone during the back end of July and during the back end of the transfer deadline day as well. But I think personally, I'm satisfied. I think Arsenal have done well getting in players early, good players, expensive players, and we just avoided all the fiascos and deja vus of the transfer window. But however, let's dive into all the deals Arsenal have done in this summer. Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well, and let me know which deal do you think was the best for you. Rob Holding has left for Crystal Palace for £4 million. That was on deadline day. That is a deal that actually hurt me a little bit, not because I like Rob Holding, obviously not, but because I think we should have got more from Rob Holding. 4 million. I remember when Arsene Wenger signed him, I think it was in 2016, 2017, and he said he can't be good because it's 55 million. Everyone was actually trying to, scapegoat him. And Wenger said, you want 55 million pound signings. This guy is not, and therefore, you're never going to rate him as that good. In the end, Arsenal have got 4 million, actually 1 million, 2.5 in add-ons. That's a bad deal. That was a bad deal. We should have done a little bit better than that. But I've always felt that Rob Holding is not that kind of standard Arsenal need. It's the same thing I've said with players like Edin Ketia and others. And slowly but surely, they will actually get out of this team. So it's gone to Crystal Palace. In my opinion, that's a very good move for him as a player. We're going to see him in the Premier League more often than not. And I think he's gone to a club where he's not going to be a starter because you have the likes of Joachim Anderson there, the likes of, Mark Gehi. So you don't expect him to start, the likes of, Tarek Mitchell. You don't expect him to start every single day. But in terms of squad depth and in terms of chances that he will play football, I think he stands a bigger chance to play football at Crystal Palace as compared to Arsenal. Albert Sambi-Lokonga has definitely left for Luton Town on loan. This one actually was confusing because Lokonga was going to go to Burnley. A couple of clubs actually wanted him, but I think it was all about the wages and how much these clubs were actually willing to offer. But Albert Sambi-Lokonga, for me, come the next summer, Arsenal have got to get rid of him. I don't think it's the player that we signed. I don't think we got the profile right. He's not your Odegaard. He's not your Xhaka. He's not your Thomas Partey. He's actually very different from those profiles. And Mikel Arteta has just agreed that this is not the player that is going to take Arsenal on to the next stage. So Albert Sambi-Lokonga to Luton Town is another deal that is done. I don't understand I don't know whether Luton Town has the quality to give him that kind of challenge for Arsenal to raise the value in him and get some good money out of him. But let's see. He will play more regularly there though, and that actually means that Arsenal can, monitor him and look at his value, whether it's going down or going up as well. Kieran Tierney has gone to Real Sociedad on loan. This is a deal I didn't agree with in the first place. I actually said if Tierney was going to leave for any other club, it should be a loan deal with an obligation or a permanent. But Arsenal decided to sell him, to give him to Sociedad on a loan deal with an option to buy. I mean, his value could go up because he's going to be playing in the Champions League and he's going to be playing more regular football as compared to when he would stay at Arsenal. But the question for me with Tierney is, if he goes there and he does well, and they decide to sign him with 1 year left on his deal, do we actually get the real value we would have gotten this summer? Because this summer we were looking at around 35 million. We could have gotten 25. We could have got, maybe 26, 27 there. But next summer, I'm thinking Arsenal could be getting around 15 to 17 million maximum in current Tierney. But it's also done, and that is a done deal. Nuno Tavares is another loan deal. He's gone to Nottingham Forest. Forest is just signing anyone for the sake of signing. I'm not even sure Nuno Tavares is going to get the quality that he would get at a club like Marseille. If he went back there, he would get at a club like maybe Sheffield United. But Nottingham Forest, I like Stephen Cooper. I really, really do. I think he's a good manager, organized manager, and he understands the game. So Tavares, again, another player for me in the next 2-3 years that should be leaving Arsenal on a permanent. Florian Balogun has also left the club finally for 40 million euros to Monaco, and Mikel Arteta said he has the quality, but we didn't have the space for him as a player. We didn't have what he needed at the moment. He wants minutes. He wants to compete with Jesus and Edin Ketia. And Mikel Arteta says, for me, they're ahead of him. For him, he's actually ahead of them as well. But of course, one thing we have to know with Florian Balogun, academy product. Arsenal have not spent a lot of time on him, like post academy. He went out on loan in the Championship. He went out on loan in France to Reims, and then he's gone back to loan in France to Monaco. That is a good deal. That is a good deal for Arsenal. 40 million euros, 100% profit. I mean, FFP, where are you? We've just dodged the bullet there, in FFP. But with Balogun, I'm not convinced. I think he's a good player. There is a player in there, and Arsenal should have done whatever we could to keep him at the side. That was never going to happen, was it? The other deal is Marquinhos to France as well. He's gone to Nantes on loan with an option to buy. So if they feel he's such a good player, he's adding value and impact, they can sign him for around 10 to 12 million. Marquinhos, that's a good deal. I think, honestly, Arsenal were never going to use him. Not in the Carabao Cup, not in the UEFA Champions League, not in the FA Cup. The quality we have in the side with players like, Emil Smith-Rowe already disgruntled, already angry, already unhappy that they're not playing football. We needed a player like Marquinhos out on loan, and if Nantes can actually sign him, Arsenal will be making another huge profit on that deal as well. Granit Xhaka has gone to Bayer Leverkusen. This one was one of the initial deals of the window. Good deal until Arsenal replace him, right? Now, we've replaced him with Declan Rice and Kai Havertz. We've not got the same value from these two players as Granit Xhaka last campaign. But I think they will come around. Kai Havertz will come around. Declan Rice will come around, and everything will be all right. One thing that I loved about this deal, the way Arsenal just negotiated good money for a player who's been here for 6-7 years, and Bayer Leverkusen agreed to pay. Probably it comes from the fact that he had a very good campaign. Will we miss him? Yes. Are we missing him already? Yes. Will we miss him in the big games? Probably and definitely yes. But I'm going to say, Xhaka, it was time to move on, and we wish him all the best. The next deal there was Charlie Patino going to Swansea on loan. And Charlie Patino is one of the players that I really, really, really do like in that Arsenal young setup. He's one of the players who have told Mikel Arteta, I don't want to be here on your bench. You either let me go out on loan or sell me, for that case. And Arsenal have decided they'll keep him for another year, and they will actually, get to see what happens with him in 2024. In my opinion, Charlie Patino will live on a permanent as well. I don't see a future with him at Arsenal. I think he's one of those players that are really talented, but you look at Rice, Odegaard, Partey, and all this other talent, it's ahead of him, and the quality they possess, Charlie Patino doesn't possess at the moment. Arthur Okonkwo, Arsenal's third choice goalkeeper last campaign, has also left on loan. He's a young goalkeeper. Arsenal are looking to do a permanent, but in my opinion, that's a good deal. If Carl Hayne actually decides to leave in the summer, then Arthur Okonkwo can come in and be our third choice goalkeeper next campaign. Pablo Mari has also been sold on a permanent to AFC Monza. Are they called AFC Monza or FC Monza? Something like that. In Italy, they had a very good campaign. He was there on loan, and they've decided to sign him on a permanent. Now, with Pablo Mari, I don't know how we signed him, but the good thing, he is out of the door. And finally, Alexander Runarsson, in terms of outgoings, has also gone out on loan. Runarsson is a deal that doesn't make any sense in my opinion. Probably Arsenal we are just too cautious of FFP. We signed this guy for 1 million. He's been a catastrophe. He's been disastrous as they come. And the fact that Arsenal just keeping him, keeping him around there, we don't want to sell him, no one wants to buy him, things like that. It's amazing. But he's gone out on another London. Last campaign, he was on loan in Belgium. This campaign, he will be on loan in the Championship. The two players that have actually surprised me that they are still here, Cedric Soares, come on. What is he still doing at Arsenal? Like the way he just dodges, transfer windows is pretty much amazing. But I think he's also a favorite of Mikel Arteta. He really, really likes him. Nicola Pepe is another player that has stayed at the club this summer. But I can confirm that negotiations are taking place between Arsenal and Nicola Pepe to turn down his contract, to actually terminate his contract. So the problem with this and why Arsenal are actually in a very difficult situation, Pepe is earning a lot of money, right? So unless Arsenal are willing to pay out his contract and then make him a free agent, he's going nowhere. He's had a couple of offers, one from Saudi Arabia, the other from Besiktas, the other from, I think, Galatasaray, a couple of offers from, France and Italy. But all these other clubs are saying, for us to take Pepe, you have got to terminate his contract. We want to take him on a free. Arsenal are saying, give us 4 million, give us 2 million. It will be all right. No one is willing to splash cash on Nicola Pepe. So I think what Arsenal need to do here, if we can agree with them, terminate the deal, pay out his wages, that would be nice. But of course, I don't want us to push him out without paying his wages. It would be kind of, inhuman. I just don't like that. So Pepe is here and Cedric Soares is here as well. In terms of the incomings, nothing new apart from the late deal we did with David Raya. Most of the things were done actually in June. The last deal was David Raya coming in through the door on an initial loan deal. Arsenal agreed to pay for the player on a permanent in 2024. I think we were just playing around with FFP and things like that. So David Raya comes in as our second choice goalkeeper, but I also think he's going to be the goalkeeper that plays in the UEFA Champions League. I really think so. So let's wait on the 20th of September. If he doesn't start against PSV, then I'm wrong. But if he starts against PSV, then I'm right. He's going to be the UCL goalkeeper, and Ramsdale will keep being our Premier League goalkeeper. But of course, he's got the quality to push Ramsdale, to push Mikel Arteta into that crazy decision of dropping Ramsdale and picking Raya every single week. We've had the comparisons done. We've talked about how good he is on the ball, how good he is off the ball, how good when it comes to those critical moments of the season. So let's wait and see if Mikel Arteta will choose him. But we've got him from Brentford at a very, very cheap fee. It's a loan deal initially, but Arsenal are in pole position to sign him on a permanent, and it will turn into an obligation given he plays a certain number of games. The next deal is Declan Rice. Obviously, he's already come in and settled in very well. Shirt number 41. Many people like him. I like him. I think I like to call him Deckers. The one thing he has done that I don't like actually is forcing Thomas Partey out of the midfield into right back. It's actually costing us as a team, but I think that goes down to Mikel Arteta. He either drops Partey or drops Declan Rice, and there is one player to play, and that should be Declan Rice. But of course, with Rice, 100 million, most expensive transfer Arsenal have ever done. Second most expensive transfer that a Premier League side has ever done, and also the most expensive English player to make a switch from one club to the other. So history has been done. Can Declan Rice revolutionize Arsenal's midfield? Can he become the player that Arsenal didn't have in Xhaka, the player that we didn't have in Lokonga, the player that we didn't have in so many of these other players like Ceballos that we brought in? Time will tell. Kai Havertz has signed from Chelsea this summer for £65 million. It's a lot of money. But Mikel says he's already doing well. Mikel says he's one of the players that are actually getting the instructions right. And courtesy of those two, Arsenal have already started shifting the way we play. We have already started controlling games, getting more of possession. But of course, the final third is still being not affected. And finally, we've also signed Jeren Timber from Ajax. He's picked up a long-term injury that will see him come back earliest actually in March, and latest in August next year. But of course, the time he played for Arsenal, we know why Mikel Arteta signed him. That is number one. And we also know the quality and the real reason why this guy is one of the best young centre-backs in the world right now. So that is all Arsenal have done in this window. I'll be rating the window later on, and I'll be ranking our signings and deals. Make sure you watch out for that one. I'll see you right in the next one.